Hello everybody and welcome back to another race. This is round number 3 and 4, not 2. It's round 2 technically, but round 3 and 4 because we have two different little variations for this race. Welcome to Fiat Supercars. My name, as per usual, is Mr. Evil Dragon XXL, aka Murray Walker, depending on what people said in the comment section last time. And hope everyone's having a good, lovely day, and hope everyone's enjoying watching the F1 that was on earlier. I did. Good to see motor racing back. But we're back in the world of sim racing, which is more important and more fun, because we have a grand total of 15 drivers and a few laps, about 30 of them, before we get some beautiful on action around Suzuka, a circuit which first hosted a race back in the mid-1980s for F1, but has hosted races since the 1960s on a circuit that really hasn't changed very much since its inception. The only real change is being a slight tightening of a few corners. One of them's right down here. That is 130R. The circuit, well, the corner where, if you don't know, 130 degrees radius is always known. However, it's not really that anymore. It's a bit less because some incidents happened, one involving a certain Alec McNish. And that's a very big accident indeed. Do recommend watching some of these accidents and seeing why the circuit changed. The old last corner used to be completely flat back in the day, like it is on Project Cars, but that circuit isn't really Suzuka. So we'll see what they can do around this circuit. It's getting ready to go for qualifications a few moments time, about 3-4 minutes. So don't forget to get your comments in. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe as well, which we are just getting ready to go as well. So far, Ross Stint, the man who's second place in the championship, Scald, who leads the championship this time around after his miraculous recovery from last week. He's currently ready to go out on circuit in just a few moments' time. We'll go through the official standings of this season. So it is Lewis Edwards who took back-to-back victories. He's currently sitting on 50 points from Alex Austin in second position, who we're currently looking at right now. Luke Clifford in third position. He got 40 total points ahead of Chris Brook in fourth. Ben Smith in fifth position. He's on 24 points, joint with Liam Rolls in fifth. John Riley down there in 7th position on 22 points with Victor Stamov in 8th position as well. Ashley Sharp, my apologies, there down in 9th position on 14. He's currently tied with both Brian Ross and Liam Flynn down there for 9th, 10th and 11th. Mark Thompson in 12th position ahead of Tom Usser in 13th. Bringing up the back of the field, Andy Hoppers and Michael Watts bringing up the back of the field, currently on 0 points. Did not finish both of the races last time out. So a few drivers looking to come through the field. Remember, in a series which have both 25 points for a victory, could always mean if you miss a race, you're basically right in trouble, because Lewis, who took 2 victories already, pretty much, 45 different points ahead of Andy Hopper down the back of the field. So he'll be trying to come through later on. Was getting ready to go for qualifying. Mark currently sitting in 4th position out of the car of Mark Thompson. He's currently, remember, sitting in 12th position in the championship on that 10 points as well. So a lot of drivers kind of really trying to come through in Suzuka. Now, a circuit around here that oftenly can provide a great on-action and on-track battling as well. We've all seen what they can do in the likes of touring cars, GT racing, and especially the likes of Formula 1 and other motorsport events as well. Could always provide a optimistic overtaking opportunity. Now, the places you'll overtake, definitely turn 1 if you get the line right down that. Always the inside line. Always possible. Turn 2 as well. If you get the inside of turn 1 correct, you can hop it down to turn number 2. This is always a nice opportunity as well. Expect to see most overtaking like at the hairpins down towards the last chicane as well. Don't really expect, and I'll be surprised if you see anyone coming through the likes of 130R, but I've been surprised before in racing, so we'll see what they can do around this circuit. I was getting ready to go for qualifying in just a few moments. As we're looking at Stam Bingo so far down there in 6th position on the track right now. He'll be hoping for a good result this afternoon. Okay, so I was getting ready to go, so we're just ready for qualifying. Should be around about, 7-8 minutes, if I'm not too mistaken, of qualifying ahead of the drivers. And they'll we get ready to go. The Pepsi Max car, so far second position. That is the car of Victor Stamov, if I'm not too mistaken. Right there, P8 in the championship on 20 points currently so far. 2 points behind John Riley in 7th. And just over 6 points ahead of Ashley Sharp in 9th. It's getting ready for qualifying. Now the question is, this time, is qualifying going to work, or are we going to have a glitched session again? It seems this time around, we've actually got the session up and running perfectly, so always good. So, first time around, it didn't work. This time around in Suzuka, in Japan, it's all worked absolutely perfectly, which is always what we want to see around this racing circuit. Everything working A-OK. First person on circuit we're currently looking at is Brooke. I think a few others just up the road of him. We'll have a look at if we can spot who they possibly are. However, the timing telemetries aren't really working so far. We're currently looking at Brooke so far in 7th. He'll be the man we're watching through this race, especially to see what he can do. Riley currently in 14th position. The timing screens officially now reset. We're looking at Luke and Lewis currently going side by side. Lewis now deciding to take the position in qualifying of the Scandinavian Cup. Had a few incidents last time out, had a few spins. Didn't really cost him too much because he still ended up winning the race. However, always want to be careful. Psychological advantage under pressure. Now, he blamed his little kittens that were invading his house because he wasn't actually at his house the other week. However, he is. So, he'll be the man who's going for back-to-back victories this afternoon, like he did just 1 week ago. Remember as well, we've got a few other drivers, hopefully, taking that mantle. Luke expects he won't be fighting up the front. He'll be trying to do the best he can do further down the field. But, well, Scold, he's got it all to work for. He's the man who leads the championship by quite a little bit from Estes, who's currently in 4th, not Estes, my apologies there, by Spesh, who's currently in around about 7th, 8th position. This whole gaggle of cars. He's in the Del Watts livery, and he really wants to be backing off here because there's a lot of cars. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, I think, around about that. So quite a few cars just sitting around in the middle of the circuit. Always going to be difficult to overtake down there. But Scold, first man to be on a lap, and, well, won't be doing if he does that, my friends, because he goes off the road. Now, I mentioned making mistakes. And straight away, on the first flying lap he does, almost drops it. Well, he definitely did drop it through the first corner. Caught it all back together, though, and he carries on, but that lap is toast. So really, the first competitive lap we'll be seeing will be set by Luke C883. He's currently down there in 2nd position. Seeing if he can set a better lap time than the likes he did last week. That's always crucial to see. However, small mistake by Lewis, and he seems to be really on that ragged edge there. However, also Luke off the road now. So they're all throwing it off the road in qualifying. Scold saying he's angry with me. I don't blame him. I've cursed him again. As now Brooke will be the man to set qualifying yet again. Again, by the way, we've got a little bit of qualifying, 4 minutes to go for the drivers, so a little bit of time for them just to sit down, just to relax, just to try and get themselves into that rhythm, because in qualifying, when you make a mistake around here, it's really, really costly indeed. So they want to be careful, they don't make mistakes, they don't want to throw it away like Luke and Lewis already have made a few mistakes together. We're currently watching Brooke, the first real competitive lap time on this circuit to be set. On board we go with Brooke, then down towards 130 up. Blink and you miss it. Turn in sharp left-hander, 140 miles an hour. Chuck it down the hill into the late braking zone here, into the chicane. You've seen plenty of accidents and overtakes down there in the past. Hopefully we'll see a few tonight. However, hopefully they don't end up as catastrophic as they did back in the late olden days. There's Brooke, first competitive lap time of this session. Set a 1:58.7. Further down the field, let's see what kind of likes of Micro, Hoopers and Spes do. Austin, let's see what he can do. So second for Micro, and Austin goes up to P1 then. So good lap time for him. So far, 8 attempts up the road. And down the field, let's see who else is still to set a lap time. We got Bassox, Riley down the back. Those are the last two to set a lap time. Riley. Let's see, so Bassox, so far, he improves all the way up. He's in 15th right now, actually, so he didn't really get too much of a lap time, but I think behind ninth position. We're seeing on the timing screws there for Riley, so an okay lap time for him. And let's see where Scold's going to be in all of this then, because he'll be hoping to come up. You know, he's the man who took pole position, if I'm not too mistaken, last time out. So he'll be going for it yet again this time. It's all going to work for, however, and wants to make any mistakes. Remember, unlike last week at Spain, turn number 1 here is a little bit more shallow, so you can carry a lot more speed in it. So it's all really going to be about carrying that speed for those. Whoever gets the best start and has a real chance of leading down to turn number 1. However, they do not want to be throwing it off the road and doing what Lewis did in qualifying. Scold mounting the curbs and the exit of spoon curve. Should be okay there, however. Not too much in effect of the tyre wear. Of course, tyre wear and fuel depletion, we believe, is off. Unlike last week, which I believe it might have been on there. So we now know it's definitely off. Lewis up by some 7/10 of a second. Out through 130R down to the chicane. Then the brakes, chuck it in, the front end snapping around. We get it all perfectly done through the exit of this corner. And let's see, should be able to go up to P number 1 then comfortably. Let's see, about 3-4 temps I give it. And goes 5 temps up the road. So Lewis, the man on the mission yet again this season. Brooke, he comes across the line. Luke up to P3, so good lap time for him. Brooke, does he improve? He does not. Estat in 5th. Having a look, see what second place can do. And he's off down at 130R. Getting out the way of a few cars and wondering a bit of traffic. One car coming past that is 11th position of Watts. So far, he's currently down in 11th in the super cheap liveried car. Missing Tink with a 2-minute 5. Puts in P13. Watts does not improve on his 12th position either so far. Placenta Denter actually improves. He goes up to 12, putting him down to 13th position. So in fact, rather dropping down the field. Flynn stays in 10th position. Riley through turn number 1. He's currently in 9th. Whilst we're looking, have a look at your top 3. Spets, meanwhile, all over the back of Watts. And this really isn't going to be helping him in terms of qualifying. Really wants to be ahead of this car. And there's a lot of cars up the road as well. And this is rather going to ruin his qualifying here. And he's not going to be best pleased. All these drivers, he's rather pushing Watts through the corner. It's Placenta really. He wants to be getting out of the way here. As Watts has a look up the inside. This is all going to hold them up. And poor old, yeah, not really anything he could do there. Placenta gets out of the way, but that's Austin's lap time over. Won't be getting anything out there. Let's Bassox through as well. So disappointing for Austin as Riley comes from the inside. Will not be best pleased, I imagine. Meaning as long as Scold doesn't manage to lose 5 temps on anyone, Luke, Brooke and everyone else, they can all improve. 6 seconds to go. Lewis won't get another lap in, I don't think. In 2 seconds. He's a little bit too short. So Lewis crossed the line. Let's see, does he improve? The answer to that is no, he does not. So he'll stay in provisional pole position. Regarding if anyone else can improve, Luke with the first cross the line back down the field. He looks like he's going to stay in 3rd. He does do so. Brooke can't improve. Estat neither. We're heading Frost and Bingo. Does he improve? He goes up to 3rd. Mike Crow, where does he qualify? He stays 6th. Estat is in 7th. Ross is off in 8th. Riley is on a lap so far in 9th position. Let's see if he can get himself up a few positions. Needs to find some 6/10 of the second to get ahead of Ross as well. He's got Watts just in front of him. Bit of a bad exit through the exit. Missing Tinkler of a 2-minute 3. Doesn't put him in the top 10. Bassox does go up into the top 10. I think he's put himself around at 5th, 5th or 6th position there. Further down the field, seeing if anyone has to cross the line. We've got a Hoopers crossing the line, but he looks like he's out of his lap time. He doesn't seem to be pushing it too heavily there. Let's see, I think he's coming in the pit lane maybe. Well, a bit of a mistake through the last corner. Reiterated, he's going to finish lap time. He's going to be quick and he's deciding which way he wants to go, and he's going to finish his lap time. That's 15th position and right down the back of the grid today. That there, everyone. Qualifying is done then. So, Lewis Edwards, the first man to fire shots, then ahead of Austin in 2nd position. And Stan Bingo, a very good 3rd position as well for the driver from Hungary. If I'm not too mistaken on that one at least. But the first war of qualifying is done. Now it's all down to the race. Let's see who's going to be the man down towards turn number 1. Remember, Austin will have the inside line down towards turn number 1, so there's always an opportunity down there, and he's going to make sure he gets it absolutely spot on. Actually, Sharp in the chat as well, saying evening everyone, hoping for a good evening's racing. We all are as well up here in the commentary box. Indeed, well, the one person in the commentary box, because no, I haven't got anyone else. Meanwhile then, so, Lewis Edwards ahead of Alex Austin. Stan Bingo with Victor Stamov there in 3rd position. He's ahead of Luke Clifford in 4th, and then Chris Brook in 5th position. Let's get ready to go then, in just a few moments time then for race number 1 of 2. Remember, about 13 laps ahead of the drivers. It's all going to be played for down towards turn number 1. Lewis on the outside. Behind him, the likes of Austin, Stan Bingo, Luke and the rest of the field. They'll all be going for it, and we're underway then here today. Good start from Lewis. He bolts off the line. Stan Bingo as well. A very good start for him in 2nd position. Lights didn't seem to come on there on my screen, but everyone gets away perfectly. So Lewis leads then straight away from Stan Bingo in 2nd. Bad start from Alex Austin there, down in 4th position so far. I think everyone's got through turn number 1 A-OK. No one making 2 mistakes. 2 cars right down the back, however, dropping 1-2 positions. I think that might be the cars of Missing Tink and Bassox. Yes, it is down the back there. But Lewis, good start for him yet again here. The 2nd time he's done it this season. And he's already trying to bolt away then from Stan Bingo and Luke as well. 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Good start from everyone else. But Alex dropping down a few positions already. Trying to come through on Luke, who was not expecting to be up here in 3rd position. So he'll be relatively surprised on that one. 1-2 cars in the background going rather sideways. That's Placenta, I think, going off the road there. He's down 8th, making a few mistakes there, getting overtaken nearly by Riley. Just seeing behind him as well. Riley, oh, we got car off the road, and that is Spesh off the road. Now, what's happened to Spesh? We'll have a look at it in just a second there. He's off the road. Now, has he clipped another car, or has he gone on the curbs and dropped on the grass for the exit of turn of the hairpin at least? Now, he's under pressure from Placenta. That's a bit of a tongue twister for you there in the chat. However, small mistakes, always costly. Have a look at it just a few moments time as we're waiting for the action just to cool down ever so slowly, but that means Skull now leads by some 2.3 seconds actually. There is off the road there. That is Stan Bingo, rather track extending, as there is Austin coming through up the inside, and getting rather punted now off the road, and that is Placenta, I think, into the rear of that car. Not sure what happened there, but getting rather clumsy on the exit of the chicane. As Austin now trying to challenge up for 3rd position down towards turn number 1. Is he going to have a look up the inside? Or Stan Bingo thinks he'll look up the inside. Can't do it either. Everyone pushing on their limits already at the start of this race. Down the back of the field, might I say, we have got the likes of Luke is off the road actually. So what happened to Luke then in all of this? Is now yellow flags coming through turn number 2. And I'm wondering who that is off the road. Is that Hopper off the road? It is Hopper off the road. So all of a sudden that's a carnage going off. So Estes in 2nd, Brook in 3rd, Spess in 4th. Then comes Stan Bingo, then Placenta. And let's have a look at what happened then to 4th position in this race. Let's see, so down at the hairpin, so it's contact with that's where the contact happened, so it was Luke around. Contact with Spess as well, so that's why Luke dropped right down to the back of the field. Luke couldn't do anything of it. The question is, though, what's the damage like on that car? We'll have another look on board with Luke later on, but a little bit naughty there, a little bit clumsy. Down into the hairpin, 3 into 1 won't work. Harry Rosted now having a look on the back of Brook for that 3rd position. Won't do it on the inside there. Wants to be getting a bit closer. And be jumping for joy, however, is Lewis up front. Trying to get the exit low on the exit of the spoon curve down towards the bottom of the hill, and then rise up over the crest and down towards turn 1. He has a little finger up the inside, but a little bit too optimistic there at the opening stages of this race. Always a chance down to the hairpin, like he says. Oh, a bit more contact there for good measure. Rather turning to a bit of bumper cars now. Austin, he's going to have a look down the inside. Thinks about it again. In the background there, you can just see that is Placenta having a look on towards Stambingo in 5th position. So he had a look up the inside into the chicane. Won't be doing that one, however, from that far back. Get a good toe down towards turn number 1. He might have a little lunge up the inside. A little bit too far back, however. Be surprised if he tried to make a move at this late stage. Rather actually punting Stambingo wide. As he gets a little bit aggressive, trying to get his elbows out. Which is all course and all good in these V8 supercars. I want to be careful they don't throw each other all too much off the road. Because remember, contact very much costs them in these types of races. And Brooks still holding third. Estat starting to drop back, but it's Skold now leading by a comfortable margin, about 3, 4, 5 seconds now. Austin still having a look up the inside. Trying his hardest, however, I don't think he's going to get fast. Brooks seems to go that line on. Now, the best place if you can do it, down to the hairpin. He's going to get exit here, try and lunge up the inside. Gonna do it. Brooke defends his line. There's Stats as well, starting to struggle. Rear end stepping out there as well. We're starting to struggle in these races. Dirtier definitely affecting the drivers as well. Further down the field, we got the likes of Placenta, Flynn, Riley, lap 7th and 8th position as well. That's the Gagala cars just behind the likes of Placenta. As up the inside goes Austin now. Has he got the position done on the exit the corner? He might have done. Brooke as well getting contact. That's Stambingo now trying to come from the inside as well. He might try and take 1, maybe 2 positions as well. Let's see. Stambingo as having a look then on towards the corner. Through 130R we go. And he's off the road as well, having a little think about going up the inside, but too far back to try it. Down towards the hairpin, the chicane we come yet again here on lap 3 of 12, coming to lap 4 of 12. And 1-2 cars going very deep into the chicane further down the field, but keep an eye on this battle so far. And it is Stambingo now in 3rd position, ahead of Austin in 4th. Brooke in 5th position, so Stambingo challenging his Placenta. If the 6th position goes up the inside of Brooke for now 5th. And he seems to have got the elbows out in the Monster Energy car, forcing the Red Bull car a bit wider than the Mazda, for whatever reason or not, struggling in this race. Though I say that, there is now 2 Mazdas up the road ahead of them. Well, 1 Mazda, that is of Austin. The only Mazda, I believe, in the top 5 positions now. So it's all line astern as Austin and Stambingo start getting close together yet again. Pushing on hard they are now. They want to be trying to come through, trying to get those positions there. As there's contact behind. And that there was that Placenta into the back. I think it must have been Placenta into the back. And there goes Austin. Round he goes. Rather clumsy, putting rearwards there. Want to be careful as he rejoins the circuit. As he gets himself right in the way. All the cars doing a very good job skirting out the way of it there. Apart from Watts, who rear ends the car. And Watts there, thought maybe he was getting the ghost there, but rear-ended him. Now Austin, he might have damage of that as well. We'll have a review of that in just a few moments' time. But Stambingo now up to 2nd, Brooke in 3rd, Placenta in 4th, Estats off the road and now in 5th position, so he's gone off the road as well. And it's all going from bad to worse. And Skold now leading by some 7 seconds. He goes off the road through 130R as well. Meanwhile, Estats now having a look at Flynn. So Estats really struggling now in this race. Unfortunate, he was in 2nd. Now down towards the back of the field. Having a look there. And where is 10th position? There he is. And let's have a little look at this moment from the outboard camera. Then we go. Let's see, so Austin coming through the corner, he's challenging Stambingo. Now it is Placenta just a little bit too late on the brakes, has rather a bit of a lunge, contact, forces him out wide, he's on the grass, clips the barrier as well. And then around he goes, 360 degrees, and on board with Watts. And let's see what he's going to see. He's going to see 1 car coming up there. Does he even bother trying to get out of the way? No, doesn't. So rather clumsy there from Watts, just straight into the rear of him. And now let's have a look what happened to Estats in 2nd position then. Is it contact with Stan Bingo? It is contact with Stan Bingo! And off the road, and pirouetting through the gravels. That's what happened there. So Stan Bingo rear-ending Estas there, and we'll have to have a look on board with second position then, as we a little bit of action going on right now. So we'll have a little look on board with second position, try and see what happened here. As there you can see, there's Austin going off in the background. Very good job from Brooke and Placenta to get back out the way of that. Where do we go then? On board, so Stan Bingo, he gets alongside him here on the exit of the hairpin. Everything looks absolutely okay down here. He gets into the toe, down towards Spoon Curve, and, well, let's see, so Estas is covering his line. He just runs into the back of him there, maybe a bit of lag. Yellow flags pop up there, that is the car going round off the circuit, but a bit 50-50 there, hard to see, but exactly who's at fault. Maybe braked a little bit early, but then Stan Bingo, he's got to be aware. He's got to be looking forward and backwards as well. Didn't seem to, rather unsighted, unfortunately, as Estas braked and into the rear of him. Meanwhile, Brooke now having a look up the inside. No, thinks better of it, try around the outside. Though, the Mustang, with its straight line speed, should just be able to hold that one for the time being. As they come through turn number 1 into 2. Everyone running okay so far. Over down the field, by the way, got Riley behind Estas. That is the battle for 5th. Sig Bassox in 7th. Flynn in 8th. Spess now up to 9th after that mistaken spin earlier on. He's at a micro 11 from Watts right now, missing Tink in 12th. Luke down there in 13th after that mistake earlier on this afternoon with contact spinning around. Ross down there in 14th, and Hooper's down there in 15th, unfortunately struggling, but Scold, he's the man on the mission right now. So far, 8 seconds up the road. And there you can see he's already exiting the next corner by these guys exiting the corner of the hairpin. A few drivers starting to spread out right now as we're looking at this bit of a hairpin shot as Stan Bingo and Brett continue their rivalry. That is the battle for 5th and 6th position, 2nd and 3rd. Meanwhile, the battle for 5th and 6th position is going on. That's Bassox. Then we've got this guy called Flynn Austin, who I expect should be coming through the field. And then Estas after that mistake and, well, contact. Maybe penalty for Stan Bingo later on. As Austin now charting to challenge, trying to find a way through on Flynn. Inside line always possible here of down to 130. I'll be brave of doing it. Thinks better of it. Is he going to have a look up the inside? Has a little mini look. Trying to unsettle the car. Does think better of it. However, he knows more than anyone else that he doesn't want to be throwing cars off into the wall. Doesn't want to be making mistakes. Trying to come through the field. Running championship rival Scold on course now for a total of 75 points this season. He's rather dominating it from start to finish. As let's see, is he going to have a look up the inside this time around? Flynn, he's not going to cover it. Austin, nope, he's a little bit too far back yet again. Down towards turn number 1 to have that little look up the inside. Saka always proving difficult to overtake. Meanwhile, talking about having battles and overtaking, we've got Brooke and Stan Bingo, those two still having a last man stand between these two. The battle for 2nd and 3rd position because Skull's rather buggered off up the front. A truly stonking driver unless he makes a mistake. Remember what happened last time out? Remember how he made a mistake in the 2nd race in the feature, well, rather in the 2nd sprint feature, whatever you want to call it, race. Throwing it away. Doesn't want to be doing that yet again this afternoon. Stan Bingo, regardless of penalties, 2nd position. He's currently sitting right at 7th, 8th in the championship so far, so definitely good. Oh, what on earth is going on there? Is that Riley off the road? Is that, who's that? Is that Austin again off the road? I think it might be Austin off the road. They're all still crashing behind. There's Flynn off the road. Austin down there in 10th. What has happened down here? Let's have a look at it then. Down towards the hairpin. So, let's see. Riley loses the rear end, smashes straight into these two. And now what can you say about that? Riley, a little bit too over-optimistic on the power. Again, very lucky for one or two of them to get right out of that action. But poor old Riley put himself in a spin. Rather small mistake. Costly. Got on the curb, it looked like. We'll have a look at it in a minute. Again, a lot of action going on. Was looking at second and third. Still trying to battle. But again, on board we'll go. Let's see what happened then. So yeah, on the curb. It's nothing you could do. Very, very lucky from Estes there. He really got himself right in the mix of that. We'll have a look aboard from Estes, because this is going to be incredible on board for him. So he's going for the hairpin. He's just minding his own business. And everyone else, they all crash each other around in the motor race. So yeah, there you can see, slam, dunk, spin 360 degrees, straight through the middle of 1-2 cars. And absolutely to perfection, no mistake either. And he's off the road, is Estes, now on point. So what has Estes done? So he's now off the road, he's down, he was in around about 7th, 6th position. Now he's dropped it into the S's section. And what has happened to him now off the road? So it's all kicking off as I praise him for going through and not making a mistake there and getting away with it. He's off the road himself. And what has happened to Estes then is he's coming through the S's section. He does it okay on the inside. Now I presume he's going to clip the curb here. Yeah, clips the curb on the outside, set into a spin. That's what happened there. So, 2 over causes on the curbs. And he threw himself off the road. That's why he's down there in now 8th position from what was about 6th position. And again, Lee's costly mistakes costing these drivers critical time. We're on that number 8. We haven't got too long to go in this race. Behind them there, we've got Austin there. He sits himself in 9th. Trying to come through after that mistake earlier on. 2 trips to the Armco barrier now, maybe 3 if I'm not too mistaken. He's been in the wars this afternoon's race, and I expect he might have some stern words. However, he can't really blame anyone for that incident just a few moments ago. Now as he tries to line up Estes, that's the battle for 8th and 9th. It's always going to be crucial to see if Alex Austin can try and come through on Estes, who's so far down in that position. Now he's under pressure. In front, you can see Riley, I think, having a look for around about 5th, 6th position. And he does get that position done there. So Riley now overtakes. So Thompson in 6th, actually. He holds that line off. Riley down there in 7th. Alex Austin does get ahead of Estes down there in 9th position. So he's got that position A-OK then for that overtake there. Still though, battle for Stan Bingo and Brooks. So the car of Victor Stamgoff still holding that line then. He's doing an okay job so far ahead of Chris Brook in 2nd and 3rd position. Behind them, in a bit of a battle there, we've got Placenta down there in 4th position. That is the car, of course, the 25 driver. Then the Gagala cars, we got Bassok so far in 5th. That, of course, of Ben Smith in 5th position. Micro in 6th there. That is Thompson. He's doing an okay job. He's kind of currently ahead of Alex Austin in 8th position. Behind them, Estes trying to challenge as well. And Liam Flynn so far in 10th position, starting to drop back ever so slightly now from these Gagala cars. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them all in a big line so far. And we've seen what happened earlier on when they were battling together. 3 and a bit laps to go then here today for race number 3 of 4. Remember, we do have another one coming up just after this one. The background there, having a look up the inside, is off the road, is Micro, and he's spun. It's hard to see. The cameraman not really picking up. They're hard to see him there, but yeah, made a mistake. Drops him down. It's now 7th position, goes on the challenge of 6th. So Austin now trying to come through on the back of Riley. Estes trying to have a little sniff as well. But Austin has to line up the inside. We can't do it yet again. Turn number 1, proving difficult to come up the inside there. Tries to think of the exit here. Won't do it around the outside of the S section. Surely not, because it'll be squeezed off. Let's see, he's still there alongside him there, so fair play. Now let's be careful, boys. They're all getting close together. Still side by side through the exit of the corner, still going at it. Now he'll have the inside line as long as he don't throw it off the road, yet he does do so. Forces himself out, and now under pressure from Estas as well. Riley and Estas battling around, but Alex Austin, an incredible sequence of corners there. Puts himself up to 7th position. A recovery drive is coming on nicely for him. As Riley now tries to hold on that position as well, but some incredible side-by-side moments there down in the S section. As again, there is contact. Riley rather going sent in a little bit of a wide moment. Gets himself all out of shape. And Micro rather caused that one, unfortunately, himself. Estas there now coming through. It's Flynn now trying on the outside. Down towards the corner. Down towards Spoon. Won't do it there, but he thinks better of it. The Red Bull under pressure from the Castrol. And Liam Flynn all over the back of Mark so far. So Mark, what can he do? Let's see. Bad exit from the exit of Spoon. Let's see. Is Flynn going to have a look up the inside down towards the corner? Mark, slight movement there, just says, don't try it, my friend, but gets it on the curbs. However, keeps it all together. No mistake so far. And he's just making sure everyone gets the line perfect. Make sure no mistakes. I'll tell you what, though, meanwhile, Estas starting to drop back now. Austin actually up to P6 now in this race, so he's really flying out there. Currently, reminder it was down, there was like 13th earlier on off that mistake. As again, Flynn has a look up the inside down towards turn number 1. Mark just holding his line there, just a little bit too far ahead, about 3/10 of a second, as off the road goes Flynn as good measure, trying to push as hard as he can. However, still trying to push the limits. Behind them, Riley so far, maybe disappointed there in 10th position. Penultimate lap of this motor race so far. And up front, we haven't seen too much of him because he's rather run away with it, and that is Scold leading this race comfortably. Meanwhile, is that still the battle between 2nd and 3rd we see going on here? It is 2nd and 3rd. That is of Victor and Brooke as well. So these two are always going to be battling together. So Victor Samov and Chris Brooke still battling together, 3rd and 2nd position. But it's Lewis Edwards up front, dominating this motor race by a comfortable margin right now. What's the gap? Some 8 seconds really. It's not really pulled too much more than that. However, Scold, Lewis, he's doing his job. Not making a mistake as Victor still holding off Chris Brooke there for 2nd and 3rd. Behind the placenta, he's doing an okay job. Bassock's in 5th. Alex Austin, recovery drive there up to 6th position ahead of Estas in 7th. Liam Flynn in 8th so far, ahead of Riley in 9th and Mark in 10th position so far. The final lap of this race now, and Scold has it all to play for as the battle for 2nd and 3rd still goes on between Chris and Victor. I don't think he's going to come through anytime soon. Well, let's see. Brooke, he's going to try every ounce of steam, but I think Stamov still got that position just okay. That's now over yet. Exit through the Dunlop corner, up over the crest, down towards the double right handle end. That, of course, of both the Degner corners. It will get itself absolutely okay there. No mistakes from these two. Placenta a little bit further down in 4th position. So it's really between these two right now for that last spot on the podium. Stamov driving an absolutely incredible afternoon drive, defending beautifully so far is Victor Samov against Chris Brooke in 3rd position. And Brooke, well, he can try to come through the best he can. Doesn't seem he's going to get any position through so far. The opportunity if you can do it down into the last corner, but let's see. Meanwhile, up front, it's the man from Birmingham. He's rather dominating this championship so far. Won the first 2 races last week. Guess what? He's going to take another one this week then. So, He might be on 50. Well, guess what? That's going to go up to 75 then. Lewis Edwards through the last corner. Takes a triple victory then here today. He'll win at Suzuka. However, what's second and third going to be doing? It's going to be Victor Stamov. He'll finish in second position. He'll just finish ahead of Brook in third. Placenta in fourth, ahead of Bassox in fifth. Alex Austin is going to come across the line in sixth position so far. Seventh down there for Estas. Liam Flynn will finish down in eighth. He's ahead of O'Reilly, who's just ahead of Mark as well. Mark Thompson will finish in 12th position then. We're just waiting for Luke Clifford down there in 11th position. He'll cross the line. Struggling rather in this race. That mistake earlier on really cost him. We're just waiting for the likes of Watts, Ross, missing Tink and Hoopers to cross the line. Hoopers almost a lap down, in fact, compared to these drivers up the road. Missing Tink across the line in 14th. Hoopers across the line in 15th. Almost a lap down, mine, on 14th position, having an absolute nightmare. But again, Lewis Edwards takes yet another victory this afternoon. Another of those victories which he's been so comfortable on this season. And some might say he'll be the fan favourite for this championship. He's rather pulled away 75 points now. As we'll get ready to go for race 2 in just a few moments' time. Remember, of course, reversed grid order. So Lewis will be qualifying right down the back of the field. We saw what happened last time around. He did end up winning that race as well. So, anything can happen. Lewis Edwards, star driver of this race. Got to give credit due to Alex Austin down there in second. Well, we'll second the championship. I think he might drop a few positions right now. He finished 6th, so he might just be comfortable in it. But that recovery drive all the way back up to 6th in the finishing order. An incredible result for him. Luke Clifford, he was third in the championship. Well, he's not going to be there, I don't think, anymore. A rather disappointing mistake right there is Estat saying the race starts in 5 minutes' time. Leon Ross, you'll be a little bit disappointed as well. John Riley had a good battle as well, but of course, it was the car of Victor Stamov. 8th place in the championship. Well, he'll be definitely up around about 4th and 5th in the championship after this one, after that brilliant battle with 4th place in the championship, Chris Brook as well. We're down the field. We still got the likes of Michael Watts. Disappointing result for him. Really struggled. Andy Hoppers, my apology, as well. Mark Thompson did a good job this afternoon. He put himself up there about 8th, 9th position. So, recovery drive. Brian Ross, however, again down there in the bottom group as well, about 13th, 14th position. So, struggling ever so slightly. What this does with the championship, it will definitely spice a few things up. As we are just getting ready to go then for second race in just a few moments' time. Hope you are sitting all nice and comfortable as well, as like we are as well. Looking through all the drivers in the field. Absolutely everyone doing an incredible job making sure they don't make any unnecessary mistakes. And that is the crucial thing in these motor races. You don't throw it away, you don't put in the wall, and you definitely don't cost anyone positions. We've seen a few incidents today. Riley involved in one earlier on down the exit of the hairpin. However, that's always going to happen in these types of races. They're pushing their cars to the absolute limits. And unfortunately, those mistakes happen. So the order will be, if I'm not too mistaken, Lewis Quat will start last. Victor Stamov then in 14th position, ahead of Chris Brook in 13th. And that's your top 3. The man will be starting up front will be P2 so far. That is of Michael Watts. He will be starting on pole position ahead, if I'm not too mistaken, the car of let's try to figure out who it is actually. It'd be Hooper actually, I think actually. I'm just getting him to go then, so we'll have a look actually. Your official order for this second race. It's always difficult to exactly picture, especially if they've got any penalties, but the final 12 laps going to go. We're just waiting for the circuit to load. So we are just getting ready any moment now before a beautiful, beautiful race. Race number 2. The early morning setting in. I'm just getting all the drivers onto the circuit. As Luke decides he wants to go out onto the circuit, then a few drivers will pop out on the circuit. So we'll have a little look at Luke, the first on the circuit, and the first real driver we're going to see for this race. Track temperature and time, I think slightly late, about 6:30 in the morning. If I'm not too mistaken, I saw that. So early morning starting a rise over Suzuka, and Luke will be the man who'll be trying to come through this race. A disappointing first race, contact with Austin and a few others as well. Nothing anyone could do. Racing incident down there, from my perspective at least. And they just need to make sure, yet again, they don't make too many mistakes. As start saying, is everyone in the session? I believe they... Oh, let's have a look then. 14 drivers so far. We're just waiting on Austin, we believe, to get into the server. P15, so we've now got all 15 of the drivers in the server. Everyone all together then. That is good to see as well. And what so far? The man will be starting right up near the front of the field, driving the super cheap liveried car. The number, what number is it? Let's see, it doesn't have the number on him then actually, so I think it's the number 33. As that pops up there, as it's the, so far, number 0 actually, apparently according to my timing screen, but I believe it's not. However, it does say number 0, so never say never, but they're all pretty certain they say number 0, so always difficult to see what number. It's the number 80 there so far in 4th Riley. And let's see, getting ready to go for the second race today. The first one may have had a bit of contact, may have had a bit of drama. What about the second race, however? What are we going to see there? Is it all going to be happy and sunshine, or are we going to see contact and drama? Hooper's on pole, missing Tink in second, Ross Waltz, and Len Luke in 5th. Luke will have a really good chance in this race as well. Let's get ready to go then. Here the third, the second, and in a few seconds time, we get ready to go for this race. And again, no countdown, but we're underway yet again here today. Hoppers get a beautiful start then, but it's Ross down there in 3rd position, who's having a look already. 3-4 abreast down through towards turn number 1. However, it's Hoppers, Watts, missing Tink, then comes Luke through it. Oh, off goes the leader. There goes your race leader off the road back there. And he's rather thrown it away straight off the bat. A disappointing there, and that is Hoppers all the way down the back. Scold already up to 13th position in this race, but Watts now leads this race from missing Tink. Luke in 3rd, Micah in 4th, Ross in 5th position, Estas in 6th. Then comes Liam Flynn down there in 7th position. He's gone to Preston Placenta. And already, Victor Stamov up to 10th position in this race. A stonking start for him as well. He's made up like 7, 8 positions already. An incredible start as they all come up the hill then for the first time. Missing Tink. Ussa there, trying to come through up the top of the hill. There is one off the road. That is that Ross off the road there, down in about 5th or 6th position there. I think it might be. There's a few mistakes. Let's have a look. Is that Ross in the wall? It is Ross in the wall. So, Ross and Austin as well in big trouble. So, Austin down there in 14th position. We'll have to Austin. We'll have to have a look later on. But, Luke up now into 2nd position. Missing Tink in 3rd. So, as oh dear, as Ross definitely not best pleased with someone. As Luke, they're trying to go around the outside and out the inside, try and go around the outside down in towards the hairpin then. Absolutely everyone getting okay there as Estas rather barges through. More contact there is missing Tink rather punt of the road. There is Mark Thompson there coming through on the outside up to 4th position, and poor old missing Tink also there down into 5th and rather going to get swamped up by the rest of the field. Unfortunately, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 abreast there, almost 5 abreast if they're not too careful as they'll come through. As Placenta is also starting to drop back down there, he's into 7th, down to 8th. And poor old Usher, now maybe under pressure from Lewis down, he was already 10th position in this race, starting to come through as well. But Luke leads this race. Crucial for him. Michael Watts in 2nd. Estas in 3rd. Mark Thompson in 4th. Then had Liam Flynn in 5th. Placenta in 6th position ahead of Victor Stamov in 7th. A good start for him. Chris Brook, his rival, however, the man he was battling him beautifully in race number 1, in 8th position. Now ahead of Usher, who's going off the road, is going backwards in this race. As Basox now has a look up the inside as well. But he takes that position like candy from a baby. And Lewis just sitting back, Lewis Edwards as well. And Usher now down to 11th position. And if it could go wrong for the man, it very much has gone wrong. Qualified up there in around 4th, 5th position. All the way down now towards the back of the field. Michael Watts now going wide and under pressure there as Liam Flynn has a look up the inside. 3 abreast, that's never going to work. And unfortunately for Michael Watts, that's off into the gravel trap for him now. So, drivers making mistakes there as Lewis battling away with his teammate there. That's a battle for 9th and 8th position. Lewis Edwards then, a man on the mission, want to be trying to win this race, wants to not be making too many mistakes as he rather goes track limiting off through 130 up. Up front, however, it's Luke leading this race now. Comfortable margin about 3-4 seconds. Flynn having a battle so far. That is a Brooke. There's a bit of contact there down the straight. Brooke having a look at the inside of his bitter rival there. We might call him right now. These two still going at it this second race. They were battling at the first race. They're battling at the second race. And it is Victor Samov still holding off Chris Brooke there. Good battling ahead. Liam Flynn in 7th as well. Then comes Lewis Edwards behind his teammate Basox as well and trying to come through as well. Brooke there on the inside of Flynn now, so Flynn trying to go around the outside actually on that car. Won't be doing it around the outside. They're trying their best. As Brooke off the road, as apologies there, people saying I don't like seeing that, however, we'll put that one on. See the names a bit easier there, so unfortunately, apologies for that one. And hello to a few people in the chat as well popping in there. Meanwhile, Luke trying to challenge for, sorry, that is Placenta challenging for 2nd position of Estas there, and Estas rather under pressure and rather down the inside. Goes Placenta then, easy does, easy goes, and now let's see, can he come back from the exit? Won't do it there. Has to sit back for the time being. Mark Thompson still batting away there. That is with Stambingo, that is of Mr. Stamov. Still these two battling together, having an incredible race between these guys. Flynn in 6th, Lewis now up to 7th, Chris Brooke down to 8th position there, so he dropped a few positions there. Basox and Michael Watts down in 10th position. That's your top 10 so far. I'm wondering where Alex Austin is. We've got one car, big off down there, and who is that? And that is Riley off the road. And that is Riley going for 1, 2, 3, 4 spins through the exit of that corner. And that is not really the way he wants to be pointing through the exit of 130 up, but he keeps it all together for good cause. Meanwhile, there is P1 leading this race, comfortable margin, 3.5 seconds now from Placenta. Then comes Estas, then comes Victor Stamov in 4th position. He's dispatched Mark Thompson now ever so slightly. Liam Flynn in 6th as well, ahead of Lewis Edwards in 7th. So these guys all in a big trend of cars from around about, what, 3rd? Yeah, about 3rd downwards, or a 2nd downwards actually. My apologies for that. A huge gaggle of cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. All in the line. Michael Watts just a little bit further down. He's in 10th position, so 2nd to 9th. Having this gaggle of cars, one car a bit wide. That is of, I think, Liam Flynn a little bit sideways. And now Lewis Edwards should just be able to lunge on up the inside. On the brakes there from the Birmingham boy. And let's see, should be able to get Flynn absolutely okay along the exit. Does do so. Flynn's a bit of a bad exit. Unfortunately, couldn't really hold that one to perfection. Lewis now up to 6th. Next target will be Mark Thompson. Mark Thompson in 5th position. Then Estasser is already on course, or maybe even a podium really in this race. And it's always possible. Always trying through these types of races. Still, Luke leads this race. Again, though, Placenta, and there is Stan Bingo. Always having a look up the inside. He's going to have a lunge up into the chicane. He is having a look up into the chicane. However, Placenta says, you are not coming through there, my friend. He'll cover it off as hard as he can, and he won't try it as best his luck. However, towards turn number 1, let's see on board we go then. Is he going to swoop to the left-hand side? Brave to do it around the outside, down to turn number 1. Let's see, can he do it? That's to back off this time around, though. Just sit back, just keep calm, just try and find that position. He's trying to pressurize him. He has a little look up the inside into the S section there. However, that one will only end in tears. It was a rather little half-hearted move, thought better of it as well. He doesn't want to throw himself off the road as they're all battling away here. But sends a bit of a bad exit as well. So it's just kicking off into a great battle here. An incredible scrap now. We're currently on that 5 of 12 as they come up through Dunlop Curve then. Trying around the outside into the tricky little double right handle of the Deckner corners. And again, just has to sit back, just has to keep in touch. Now, can he get a good exit here? Can he try to have a little dive down towards the hairpin? Let's see. Thinks of it. Really bit of contact left for good measure. Tries to take that tight line. Tries to get a good exit. Give it an opposite lock for good measure. But still can't get through. And Placenta right now proving almost a roadblock right now for these cars, because up front, still pulling away, is Luke. And again, just holds the line. 3rd, 4th, that is Mark Thompson. Just holding that line ahead of Astas and Lewis Edwards. And again, reaving almost one way to the other. Tries to force him around the long way now. He's got a little bit alongside. He's got half a car, went for alongside now. Brave around the outside to 130 off. Fought it, had to back off at the last second. Now, can he get down the inside towards the last corner? However, look at the inside there as that goes. Placenta off the road. And there is Mark Thompson. And it's all gone wrong. And contact there as Mark Thompson rather punting 1-2 cars off the road. We'll have a little look at that one in a few moments' time. Stamp Bingo drops down, and Estas now up to 2nd position. There is Scold. Now decides all of a sudden he wants to go for 2nd in this race. And Scold makes contact. And Scold is wide. And Scold almost falls onto the grass. And he is onto the grass. So it's all turning into a radio show all of a sudden yet again. And these guys are so competitive. They're all forcing each other off the road. Incredible battling here. And Lewis, for whatever reason there, punted a bit wide. He's now under pressure there from Flynn. Liam Flynn round the outside. And let's see, can he get the position done? Yes, he can round the outside. Does that job absolutely okay. And now, Chris Brook is now going to have a look up the inside as well. So in the space of a few yards, it's gone from Lewis in 2nd back to Victor Stamov in 2nd position. So this is turning into a right rodeo. And look at them all. They're like ants going through the corner. And let's see Estas trying around the outside. There we go. Bit more contact for good measure on the exit of the corner. They all keep each other just on the road, however, this time around. All one does not go on the road, and someone's gone spinning down there. Is that Lewis? There's not Lewis. Who is that off the road? It's Chris Brooks off the road then. And he's rather got himself in a pickle. 1, 2, 3 spins, returns to the road behind Riley. As now Estas through into second position. As now Stamov pushed out wide by Basok. And this is rather getting a little bit too close for comfort now. As leads 4 altogether. Has another look down the inside. A little bit too far back now. And I think some people might have some stern words to say after this race. It's Liam Flynn now trying to go around the outside down towards the chicane. However, he's a little bit too far back as well. Meanwhile, in the background there you can see a rather spinning Micro Mark and Skull battling together there, and that was Scold all out of shape with Micro Mark trying to challenge him as well. Second, third, fourth, fifth still together though. And there you can see Basok's having a look up the inside down towards turn number 1. There's be contact again. Forces him wide, and this again is Victor Stamov saying, thank you very much, I'll take 1 position. Might try and take 2 again, my friend. And Smith still holds that line, however. Won't give it up too certainly. Won't push himself too wide. Liam Flynn now getting on the action as well, side by side with these cars. There's more Cutler is there off the road. And forced again off the road, unfortunately, is Victor Stamov. And what can you say? These drivers are rather getting a little bit clumsy right now. Pushing themselves, pushing each other off the road. This is almost turning into really a touring car race. Bit of a shambolic race, might we say, but brilliant for us to see nonetheless. As, oh! Placenta into the wall as well. And he's clipped that wall. We saw Austin, who's now up to 8th position, mind, in this race. He did that earlier on. Exact same move as... Have a look then, is he still going off the road? He can't get himself back going again, so... Paul Placenta from running 7th position punted himself down to 14th. Rather a self-inflicted injury, unfortunately. It's off the road there is going Estas and spinning as well. And this is really turning into a rodeo right now. They just all can't seem to keep it on the road right now. Flynn now up to 3rd. Basok's in 2nd. That is Smith doing an absolutely beautiful job. Lewis now ahead of Victor Stamov now, and Lewis really was the man who wanted to come through and get these positions. Austin now up to 7th. And again, carnage, drama, and these second races all do provide these kind of brilliant battles. As we have a little look earlier on in this race. And this was the incident, I believe, and yeah, you can see one of the cars spinning. That's what happened down there. But meanwhile, Skold still battling away with Victor Stamov then. Edwards on the inside, but Stamov now has the inside for the next corner, but Lewis will have the inside for the next corner. And it's all reverse rolls now. And Lewis Edwards keeps hold of that 4th position for the time being. Up front, leading this race. Comfortable margin right now, about 9 seconds. Luke holding the line as these guys all battle themselves down. Liam Flynn in 2nd. Then comes Smith in 3rd position, ahead of Lewis Edwards in 4th. And Victor Stamov in 5th position, doing absolutely a good job. Mark Thompson now in towards 6th, just ahead of Alex Austin. Already back to 7th, might even be challenging for a podium in this race, you know, because he's already there. What about 5, 6 tenths, well, about 2-3 seconds, give or take, between these drivers. Incredibly close. Remember, he's only the top 7 separated by, what, 12 seconds. That just shows how close this 2nd, 3rd, 4th battle really is in this afternoon's race. Oh, much. And great Milderman there. It's 2 months push to pass. Here we go again. Almost having a bit of contact there. Luke Lewis having a look up the inside into 130 up. And let's see. Now, is he going to try around the outside? Stan Bingo close. Oh, go. There's contact again. And Lewis always, yeah, he's forced off the road there. And that is Victor Stamov into the rear of him. Again, twice in a row. And these drivers, they need to remember, these may be GT3 cars, but it's not a sprint race. It's not really a series you're meant to be making too much contact in. Especially like this, they're all forcing each other off the road. Again, here we go. Basok's at the inside. Oh, and there goes Flynn, sent spinning around. And Basok's there. Oh, rather I don't really know what he was trying there. He had a look. He had a little bit up the inside, but contact was made. And Flynn down there, and he's going to be absolutely livid with that one. Stambingo and Bassox, all these drivers pushing themselves. And you can't be doing this in these types of races. You've got to be keeping each other all together. And we'll have a look at Flynn just a moment in time. We'll have a look at it right now then. So coming down through then, Bassox in third. Did he have alongside? A rather half-hearted move that. Absolutely nothing. Poor Liam Flynn sent into the shadow realm right now. And oh, there is Bassox off the road. Meanwhile, so he's gone straight off the road then, just as we cut back to him. And the question is what happened to him? Because he was running in second position then. And now Lewis is up to third. Victor Stammel's still in second position, and Austin already up to fourth. Well, Austin's come through in this race. It's like a ballistic missile right now. He's coming through this field. He was down in last earlier on. As here comes Lewis now having a look up the inside for third position. Has to go around the outside. Thinks better of it. Now he might have the inside down towards the chicane. Let's have a look down towards the chicane. Has he got the move done? He has a little look, but here we go. Austin up the inside, and Austin rather punting Lewis round as well. As Lewis keeps himself in the right direction. Hard to see. The cameraman's gone on strike, and there is Lewis off the road. He goes for a 360 degrees of spin, as well as Austin. And this is just turning into an absolute shambolic of a race. You don't normally see this. And carnage absolutely everywhere. I can't believe what I'm seeing in this race. It's almost like these drivers have forgotten what their racing is. Luke still leads this race. 13 seconds now up the road. Stambingo there, the man from Hungary, so far in second position. Victor Stamov doing his job. And Liam Flynn, out of all of this, is back up to third position. After the Wavra getting punted off the road by Bassox, we'll have a look at him just a few moments time what happened to him, because we saw him spinning off the road. And where is he actually? He's right down the back of the field, is he not? And you can see a few people in the chat were not happy earlier on. Let's have a look then. And this is the hairpin then. This might give us a little bit of indication what happened. So he's on the outside line, and now is that contact with Austin? I think it would be contact with Austin. So we'll have a look at Austin then. He's was in fourth position in all of this. Let's see. Yeah. A bit hard to see from that camera. Let's try and get the wider camera angle then. If the game will let us. So, let's see. So, inside line. He's minding his own business. And, the ever so slight touch. Nothing you can really do in that type of incident. Lewis get himself right in the action as well there. However, he ended up getting put off the road. Actually, we'll keep it on board here, if we can, just for a few moments' time there. And let's have a look what's going on down here. You can just see how much carnage really kicked off, because we saw as well, everyone kicking just off, down towards the chicane. This will be a good view of it, because I believe it's going to happen here. So, he gets a good run down towards 130 on. Lewis has a little look up the inside. Covers him off pretty well though. So good defending there from Victor Stamov. Then ran the outside. He thought about it. Gets about to exit. Victor rather off the road. And now let's just see. So it's Victor coming back on the road. Then it's side by side with Lewis. And let's see. Is he going to be straight into the sideboard? Now Lewis rather cut him off that. Didn't really do anything there. So rather Lewis his own doing that. Didn't give him any room. And that's why he's off the road. And Spess now down in 8th position from where he was running earlier, with Flynn down in 4th. So as soon as I go to the replay camera, it all hell kicks off behind. So I don't know what these guys are. That's a bit of a corner cut there from Liam Flynn. I think he might get a penalty for that one. Lap 11 of 12. And these drivers, for whatever reason, like I said earlier on, have forgotten this is a sanctioned race, it seems, and rather turned it into a rodeo. Pushing each other to the absolute limit. Scold in 6th position. Austin now down to 8th position. Chris Brook in 9th. Ahead of Ross in 10th. But it's still Victor Stamov in second, but Luke dominating. And we don't just say dominating with an asterisk. He is very much dominating, as there goes Stamov off the road slightly there. Mark Thompson, yeah, we're trying to come through, coming towards the last lap of this race in just a few moments' time. Estas in 5th, Lewis in 6th position, the car behind him, you can see quite far back, that is of Alex Austin. Might always be a position, he might even still get 5th in this, you know. Hunting, challenging, always on the limit. Again, a bit of a tank slapper there on the exit by Estas. Mildeman saying lack of side vision for Lewis. He has a few incidents like that. If you go, Lewis, is he going to think about the inside or the outside line? Estas covers his line off beautifully there. Lewis tries around the outside. Thinks one way, won't do it there. Tries to get the other way. Still holding that line off beautifully low. Maybe trying to come through that. Be optimistic if you can try and get that move done. Tries to switch around the outside through the exit down towards Dunlop corner. I think just holds that line for the time being. Meanwhile, 3rd and 2nd closing up on each other. Victor Stamov and Mark Thompson starting to close up. Liam Flynn still in 4th. As these guys still battling together, Lewis thinks about up the inside of Degner. But that would have all most certainly into the old mother of God of accidents. Oh, and there goes Lewis. Off the road, clips the wall. And tries to get himself right out of the way. And unfortunately for Lewis, like we saw earlier on with Placenta, clips that wall and he's put himself right down out of this running. Might be say as well, 2nd, 3rd is we got one car off the road. Now who's that? That's a lap car right down the back. I'm not sure who that is. And up front, he didn't have the best first race. He was involved in contact. Some could have said, I said he could have a chance. Well, he's gone and proved everyone. He's proved the critics wrong. Here comes Luke. Winner in race 2. The first one that's not Lewis to win a race this season. 2nd position is going to be Victor Stamov yet again. Doing an incredible job this season. Double on the trot. A double 2nd position in the back-to-back races. Mark Thompson in 3rd. Liam Flynn in 4th. Alex Austin, a brilliant recovery job to 5th. He beats Estas by just a couple of hundredths of a second. They're missing Tink in 7th. Chris Brook in 8th. Lewis Edwards, a shocking last lap for him, puts him down in 9th position. Meanwhile, down the Black Placenta and Michael Waltz still battling at it. I think Michael Waltz might have just got him right at the end of the line. I think he just has it to run to the line. And Michael Waltz has got that 12th from Placenta in 13th, Basok in 14th, and right down the back, all drama as well. Well done then to Luke. First victory this season. First man that is not Lewis Edwards to win a race, and we do apologise there for the explicit comment you might just see there on your left of your screen. I unfortunately can't do a lot about that one. But again, another beautiful recovery drive for some of the drivers. No mistakes, though, for Luke, dominating this victory yet again. When these drivers get themselves into a gap and they just get themselves into a rhythm, they pull away. However, and that will be the end of that one then. For what has been an incredible afternoon. That was Hoopers, by the way, we saw going off. That was the one right down the back of the field. But thank you everyone for joining us here today at Japan. Join us next week where we come for round number 5 and 6 of this incredible season. I've been Evil Dragon XXL. Take care and see you next time. Ta-ra.